Hey everyone, welcome to Money Gist. I'm Williamisi Dada, and here are the top 5. The Central Bank of Nigeria has announced new measures aimed at protecting bank customers and improving the nation's payment systems. In a newly released draft guideline, the CBN has directed all deposit money banks and financial institutions to refund customers for failed ATM transactions within 48 hours. Under the new rule, failed transactions carried out on a customer's own bank's ATM, known as unasked transactions, must be reversed automatically. Where technical issues delay the process, refunds must be completed within 24 hours. For transactions on other banks' ATMs, refunds must be made within 48 hours. The CBN emphasized that customers must not bear the cost of system errors or network failures. Beyond refunds, the new framework also focuses on improving ATM standards nationwide. Banks are now required to deploy at least one ATM for every 5,000 active cards, with full compliance expected by 2028. All ATMs must include anti-skimming technology, CCTV surveillance, and backup power systems to prevent downtime. Machines must also dispense clean banknotes, issue receipts, display transaction fees clearly, and provide tactile features to support visually impaired users. Operators are expected to ensure that no ATM remains out of service for more than 72 consecutive hours. If that happens, the bank must publicly disclose the reason and the expected time of restoration. The central bank says the reforms are in response to rising complaints about failed transactions, cyber threats, and poor service quality. The goal, according to the Apex Bank, is to build a payment system that works seamlessly for all Nigerians, whether in urban or rural areas. Stakeholders have until October 31st to submit comments before the new guidelines take effect. When implemented, this policy is expected to strengthen consumer confidence, improve service delivery, and bring Nigeria's banking infrastructure closer to global standards. Nigeria's crude oil production has recorded another decline, falling to 1.39 million barrels per day in September. According to the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, this marks the second consecutive month of reduced output and the lowest level in 7 months, dropping below Nigeria's OPEC quota of 1.5 million barrels per day. Data from the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission (NUPRC) show that total oil and condensate production averaged 1.58 million barrels per day in September. Out of this, crude oil accounted for 1.39 million barrels, while condensates contributed 191,000 barrels. The Commission attributed the shortfall mainly to the 3-day strike by the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria (PENGASAN), which disrupted operations at several production and export facilities. The strike stemmed from a disagreement involving the Dangote Refinery, leading to temporary shutdowns and export delays. Interestingly, Nigeria had briefly exceeded its OPEC quota in January, June, and July, but this latest setback underscores the volatility in the sector and the need for greater operational stability. Oil remains Nigeria's largest source of foreign revenue, making these production swings a key concern for the nation's economy. The Dangote Refinery will soon be listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. That means for the first time, ordinary Nigerians will be able to own shares in what is now Africa's largest refinery. Speaking at the Downstream Petroleum Week in Abuja, Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, through his strategy chief, said it's time Nigeria stopped attacking local investors and started creating policies that reward productivity, innovation, and competition. He also revealed that the refinery can already meet all of Nigeria's diesel and jet fuel needs and about 90% of our petrol demand, with extra left for export. That's a massive win for jobs, forex savings, and energy independence. Dangote said it doesn't make sense for an oil-rich country like Nigeria to keep importing fuel when we can refine at home, and he is calling on government to protect local refineries from unfair foreign competition. In essence, Dangote wants more Nigerians to invest in Nigeria, and with the refinery going public soon, he's opening that door for everyone. So what do you think? Would you buy shares in the Dangote refinery when it lists? Drop your comments below. Moving on, Here is big news for Nigeria's agricultural sector. A major 190 million euro credit line, that's about 320 billion naira, is coming from the European Union to boost lending to farmers and agribusinesses across the country. Now, this isn't just free money. It's a financing facility from the European Investment Bank, and it will be channeled through Nigerian commercial banks and development finance institutions, meaning more access to credit for farmers who have always struggled to get funding. The deal was announced in Brussels during a meeting between the Nigerian officials and top EU executives. The focus: climate-smart agriculture, value chain development and sustainability, especially in key sectors like cocoa and dairy. According to the EIB, this credit line will not only provide loans, but also include technical support to help banks better manage agricultural lending and reduce risks. So it's not just cash, it's capacity building too. This move adds to other EU-backed initiatives in Nigeria, like the 50 million euro credit for pharmaceuticals and 18 million euros for vaccine production. Representing Nigeria, officials from the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning reaffirmed the government's commitment to reform under President Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda, aimed at attracting more sustainable investment and driving inclusive growth right down to the grassroots. The announcement came during the EU Global Gateway Forum, where the European Commission's President Ursula von der Leyen also revealed that the EU is expanding its investment package to 400 billion euros with a special focus on Africa. Bottom line, this new funding could mark a turning point for Nigeria's agriculture: more finance, more exports, and stronger food security. There's major movement in the global market. Gold has just hit a record high, climbing past $4,100 per ounce, approximately 28 grams, for the first time ever. This surge comes as investors grow more confident that the US Federal Reserve will cut interest rates later this month. Lower rates usually make gold more attractive because it doesn't yield interest, so when borrowing costs drop, gold tends to shine. At the same time, renewed trade tensions between the US and China are driving investors towards safer assets. Both nations are introducing new port fees on shipping, while Presidents Trump and Xi Jinping are expected to meet later this month, a sign that negotiations are intensifying. So far this year, gold has gained nearly 57%, lifted by global uncertainty, steady central bank buying, and strong demand from gold-backed exchange-traded funds. Analysts say if the Fed confirms a softer policy stance, gold could move further into the mid-$4,000 range, with some forecasts even calling for $5,000 per ounce by next year. Now, it's not just gold making headlines. Silver recently hit a record $53.60 before easing to around $51 per ounce, fueled by a short squeeze in London and that same safe haven sentiment. Meanwhile, platinum and palladium are also trending higher, benefiting from the broader flight to stability. All eyes are now on Fed Chair Jerome Powell's upcoming speech for more clues about the central bank's direction. If the Fed signals more cuts, we could see precious metals maintaining their strong momentum. So in summary, gold's breaking barriers, silver's close behind, and the world's investors are watching the Fed for the next big move. That's today's Money's Top 5, where we unpack the stories shaping money and markets. I'm William Dada. Thank you for watching, and remember to like, subscribe, and share for more updates on where the big money is moving.